Eric was a driven person and a very competitive person when he was young. And at a young age, him being 5 years younger than me, I realized that quickly. And when football came into the picture, Eric focused that on his football game, trying to be the best that he could be.
I remember one time he was out there by himself, and the neighbors, elderly woman, he needed some help to kick the ball. So he went and get her to come hold the ball so he could kick it.
He was just such a big child, and the genetics just made him have so much talent that all you had to do was work with it. And Andy, I want to say, contributed that.
And some people say that he was too short or too slow. That just made him lift harder and train harder. He was very dedicated in trying to achieve his goals.
But Andy also motivated Eric because he wanted him, he saw what, there were things with him he couldn't really do because of his handicap, but he wanted Eric to get as fulfilling as he could with the size he was growing. So even at a young age, Andy was a big role in Eric's football and pushing him to work hard too.
He actually played for a Labradorville team when he was young. And of course, when you're in the younger age groups, you can only play certain positions, and he was kind of limited to what he could do. But watching him then, you knew that he was going to be something special.
He got bigger than me, and I was nowhere near to hit him or pick on him or do anything.
His grandmother told me that somebody said that on the news that you got to watch this kid, he's good, because he was going to the high school. And then when he went to high school, then we started going to all the games.
Throughout his career, even in high school, he did have some matchups to where he had people who were more the same size and ability of him, but he always had the drive to even beat them or excel over them. And just over the normal athlete, you could always still tell that he was a little bit special.
Yeah, one thing about him, when it came to work out the weight and keep in shape, you didn't have to tell him, say, look, go work out.
In track, he was very successful in track. Thibodeau High won the state championship when he was a senior in track and field in 4A that year. And Eric excelled in shot put and discus.
Track, it just fell because of the conditioning program, and he was so strong. So that, however, I threw the shot and the disc too. I think that's, again, my mom pushing us from the strength we had to do those things, and he excelled well too in that.
When Daddy talks, he can tell you of all the coaches that came and visited at the house and had supper, ate crawfish, and called and called and called. But I know when it came down to where you had to make the final decision, Alabama was in the picture. And one of our close family friends, and he truly was in the picture. And I can remember telling him, Eric, you do what you want, but just remember when you come home, you can be a hero or you can be a goat. And I think he made the right decision. But one of our close family friends, Eric, actually told him that he was going to Alabama, and he was heartbroken. So, it was difficult for him. Once he made the decision, it was all behind him, though.
Right now in my barn next door, they got some old posters from all the colleges, from Tennessee, Alabama. We was glad he went to LSU, and we were hoping, but it was his to make. We didn't say, look, you got to go here or you got to go there. We all would sometimes go up there underneath South End goalpost. That's where we used to watch the game. We'd stand up there, and then very seldom I ever saw a game finish, because I used to leave before the game and go to the motorhome and start heating the food up, because Eric, when he got done, he was ready to eat. Ruffin would get there, and then the Hodgsons would be there, and now and then we'd see one of Nacho's family over there, but
On draft day, Eric had a number of his friends over and family over, and that was a long day for him. And he was frustrated because many an NFL team scout contacted him and told him, hey, we're going to draft you in X round. If you're still there, we want you. You're our kind of guy. And those picks passed.
I thought he should have went earlier. And some other people said the same thing, you know.
We were all here. We had family. We had cooked. Daddy had cooked. We had everybody over, and we were waiting and waiting and watching the TV. And you know, no phone calls were coming. And you know, he got to the point we would go outside. Let's just put it aside, you know. And
kind of held him back was his height, you know. And everybody in this Thibodeau High and all that had him at 6'4". But when he went to the combine, he came back, he said, I'm 6'2".
And lo and behold, he gets picked by the Detroit Lions, I think 111th pick in the draft, and never had contact with them or anything, so it was a surprise.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Eric Andolsek. Eric was a friend of mine and a teammate. When I think about Eric, I think one thing, he might have been the nicest guy in the world. I really mean that. I loved being around him. His energy was infectious. He was one of the toughest guys that I ever played against. Eric and I lived together our rookie year. We shared the ups and downs of rookies. And if I had a choice and I thought about it, there'd be no other person that I would share that time with than Eric Andolsek. He was a true teammate and a true friend.
And later in life, he would speak to teams or youth groups, either in Detroit or in this area, and kind of, you know, let the kids know that, hey, look, if you put your mind to it and you work hard enough, anybody's goal is attainable.
I'd walk with my little ones. We lived right next door, and we'd come in here and watch him work out and do things, and we just loved it. It was by himself. He grabbed that swing set and popped it out the ground. And these men, I mean, everybody could not even imagine. Eric lived by the letter F. And his three of the most important things that started with letter F were family, friends, and fishing. That was his most important in life. The fourth was football.
Talk more about what Renee said about family and friends. He would call from Detroit. He wanted to know, he didn't want to talk about the football games. He wanted to know what his friends were doing, what his family was doing, you know, and you'd start saying, well, boy, that game was, Andy, I'm gonna hang up. I just want to talk about home. And he came, when the season was over, he was here 2 days. And look, he would tell you sometimes, he said, boy, I hate going to the fair because I just signed autographs and I got to talk to everybody, but he would still do it today. And just kind of getting back to my mom would have been so proud of him, you know, being inducted into this Hall of Fame that you wouldn't believe it. And she passed away in 2011. But you know, I thank the foundation for considering him, and my mom was going to be with us in spirit. And again, you know, she would be so proud of her little son for getting inducted.